Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Well, That's Horrific, a podcast about anything and everything horror. I am your co-host, Mr. S.
And I'm Tom Cruise.
And this week, as you know, we will be talking about The Boogeyman. We've mentioned it last week.
The Boogeyman.
We finally got to see it, and we're going to go ahead and, review it here. So spoiler warning if you haven't seen it. This is a movie that I've been wanting to see for quite some time. It's since its release of May 31st, I believe it was. It's a Stephen King, adaptation. So, it's going to be something huge. Obviously, you and I have been talking about Yellow Jackets. So our girl Sophie Thatcher is in this. She stars in this film. And also just the Boogeyman itself. We've heard that, saying, or that phrase, for instance, many, many times throughout our, childhood. So it's interesting. There were so many Boogeyman films out there. So let's see what this one brings. And, with a budget of $35 million, it's brought in so far $52 million, which I think is pretty good. I think it's a success for the most part. I'm very excited for this. I'm excited to share my thoughts with you. I have a couple of questions I want to ask you as well. So, without further ado, again, this is your spoiler warning once more. I'm gonna head it in Tommy's direction. He's gonna go ahead and, tell us a little bit more about the Boogeyman and, start off with his insights. So, Tommy, please.
Happy to take over here. So the Boogeyman, 2023. I specified the year because there's been so many Boogeyman movies.
Yes.
I'll start with the synopsis. Still reeling from the tragic death of their mother, a teenage girl and her younger sister find themselves plagued by a sadistic presence in their house and struggle to get their grieving father to pay attention before it's too late. Yes. I think that pretty much hits all the check boxes. I would say that's a pretty good synopsis.
Yes.
But before I dive into the movie, do you know the origin of the Boogeyman, or I guess the term Boogeyman?
No. It's funny. Like I just mentioned, I've heard it so many times throughout my childhood. Like a lot of times people try to scare me. I try to scare little kids, and I don't know the origin of it. Oh.
So I actually looked this up prior to this just to make sure, because I wanted to see, where it actually all started from. And just a quick rundown here. So the word Boogeyman is used to describe a monster. And it comes from Middle English bougie and boogie, which is like Bugga or Bogge, which means a frightening specter. The Boogeyman itself, it started back in the 15th century, and they were usually used to like scare children, or like obviously, it was more of a thing of like the monster underneath your bed sort of thing. And even back then, it was more so like, it was kind of known as like the thing that would come after children kind of thing.
Oh, well, I think I knew that much, besides.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we know that. We know that. Yeah. We knew that part of it. It wasn't as interesting as I thought it was, but I wanted to kind of see where it came from. You know what I mean? I knew it, but I didn't know it at the same time, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense, because that's exactly how I'm relating to it right now. Like, I thought you were gonna give me some crazy piece of information that I did not know, and I'm just like,
listen,
I knew that.
I wanted to share how underwhelmed I was when I looked it up myself. So
perfect.
My whole point is the whole point of the Boogeyman back even in the 15th century was really to have children follow their parents. Basically, exercise caution.
Listen up, or the Boogeyman will get you.
Exactly, have them behave, sort of thing. Yeah, yep, yeah. That's pretty much it.
Cool, pretty cool. All right, thank you for that piece of information. So if you don't know that, there you go.
All right. So like you mentioned, stars Sophie Thatcher, directed by Rob Savage, and written by Scott Beck. We also have Chris Messina, who stars as the father, Will Harper. And Sawyer Harper, played by Vivian Lyra Blair, which if you've seen, she is Princess Leia. If you've seen Obi-Wan Kenobi, I knew I recognized the little girl. I didn't know from where, and just that.
Yeah. She definitely did look familiar. I am not a fan of Star Wars. I have not seen Star Wars. I know everybody goes crazy about it.
Oh
So
my God, you're gonna get canceled tomorrow.
yeah, man. Listen, it is what it is. I like to be, transparent with people who are listening to this. So I don't know anything about Star Wars, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, that's pretty big. I know Star Wars is pretty big. So if she was, what did you
She
say, Princess Leia's daughter? Or what did
she
you say
was
she was?
she played a young Princess Leia
Oh, the young
um
Princess Leia. So
in
yeah,
the
so there
Obi
you go.
Wan
That's
show,
yeah.
and then
Go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say I thought watching the movie, I thought she was a little girl from Evil Dead. For some reason, I'm watching the movie and I don't
Yeah,
know if
I
it
can
was
see
for the
that. I
writing
can
or something.
definitely see that.
Some of
I
the
can.
wittiness of this little girl was very similar to the wittiness of the little girl from Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah, so this girl, Vivian Blair, she's actually from Bird Box as girl. You know when Sandra Bullock named boy
Ah,
boy girl girl.
yes,
So
that's
she's
another
actually a
one.
girl. So that's why she was familiar to me. But do you know who was familiar to me that I haven't seen in a film in so long? Is the father played by Chris Messina.
Yeah.
Last time I've seen him was in Devil.
I don't remember him at all. I don't remember him in
Yeah,
Devil, and I've
he
seen
was.
Devil.
Yeah, he was the officer that was kind of watching the people stuck in the elevator. He was watching them through that TV screen with the security guard. He was the one that was kind of calling all the shots. I was once I saw him, I'm like, that's the guy. That's him. I haven't seen him in a long time, so it was good to see a familiar face. But yeah, man, and
The
also,
only other character I would want to mention is Lester Billings, played by
of
David
course,
Dastmalchian. I know him from The Dark Knight. I
absolutely,
know
known
he's
for the
I think
Dark
in
Knight. He
Dune.
played the schizophrenic dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
the crazy schizophrenic dude in The Dark
yeah,
Knight. And the moment I
yeah.
saw him, I was like, he's great for this sort of character just because he's spooky to begin with.
Absolutely, very very spooky. But yeah, I think overall a great cast, a strong cast,
Yeah, I would say so.
a very strong cast, which I think for me indicated at the very least a decent movie, right?
Usually that's
I
the case.
Yeah, that usually that is the case. I don't know about you. I had, I would say high, not too high of expectations, but I had a good, what you call it, feeling about going to see this movie. I thought to myself, okay, this movie cannot be bad, right? I kind of want to know first your thoughts before I give you mine because I want to
100%.
see if we're the same on this one.
Gotcha.
So tell me what you
So
think.
I I will say I didn't go into it with as high expectation as you did. However, I did really want to watch the movie. But somewhere along the lines, it kind of faded away. I felt like maybe this movie took a little long to come out because I felt like we spoke about this on the podcast a while ago, and then it was surprising when it did eventually come out. I think I like it more like with what you say, where like we see a trailer and it comes out in a month, versus
Right,
we see a trailer and I'm waiting for the movie for like a year, and then it's like by the time the movie comes out, I kind of forgot about it, sort of thing.
right,
And I feel
right.
like that's what happened to me with this movie because I've known about it for some time, but then like kind of like faded away for a second.
Yeah, it faded
Um,
away for a second, and it kind of revamped itself when I think it was introduced in CinemaCon. I forgot what, maybe it was a trailer or something that had
yeah,
released, and so that's when it kind of brought the attention back to it. So yeah, I definitely understand that. I agree with you when it comes to that type of uh, delay. I would say, yeah, okay, cool. That's fair. That's pretty fair.
now let's get into some of the characters. Right,
Yeah.
we got Sophie Thatcher. She plays Sadie Harper in this.
Yep.
I think she does a pretty good job.
Mhm.
Obviously, we know her from Yellow Jackets. Um, Young girl just lost her mom. We don't really hear exactly what happened then, but shortly after, another traumatic experience. Man comes into the house and something happens. Right? We hear that he hung himself, but another traumatic experience to add to the fact that this family was already going through a loss. And we get introduced to the father as well. He's a therapist, but he doesn't seem to pay attention to his kids. That
Mhm.
was like the
Mhm.
first red flag for me. Um, the dad in this wasn't the greatest dad, but again, that's part of the kind of the plot of it. Um, you get those awkward moments between him and his daughters, or him and mostly Sadie, but like that moment where she's like, "Just talk to me," and like he just
Yeah,
walks out of the
awkward
room.
is an understatement when it comes to this. Like, I was so upset with the disconnect that they gave this father and his daughter,
100%.
especially when he was a therapist himself.
that's what threw me off, is that he's a therapist, so he should know better.
Exactly.
And I didn't understand how, like, it was so obvious. Like, she was being, again, I guess this might be too extreme, but she was being such a good daughter that it was surprising how bad of a father he was being. In the sense
Yeah.
of, like, normally the kids lash out, and I didn't
Yes.
feel like
Yes.
she was really lashing out. Like, she wanted to have that conversation. She was telling him, like, pretty straightforward, like, tell me more about mom, and he
Yeah.
just was in, like, this denial stage where he just refused to talk about her, and it just made things worse between them. And then we got this other, like, B storyline with Sadie and her friends. Fucking hate every single one of them, including her best friend.
Yeah. For real.
Yeah, like, just terrible friends to begin with.
That
Even her
blonde
best
chick, I
friend.
want to just rock.
Yeah.
Every time she was on screen, I'm like, yo, I want to rock this girl, bro. I don't
Yeah, from
care,
the very beginning, we get introduced to her, and she's picking on her. She spills food over
bro. Her mom just
her
died. Like her
mom's dress.
mom just died, and
Yeah,
she's like mad cruel. That's this.
yeah.
That's crazy.
And then even later, where, like, she, like, wows out, and then she eventually does get smacked, but, like, rightfully so.
That wasn't enough for me though. That
Yeah,
wasn't enough for me.
but, like, rightfully
This
so.
is yeah, yeah.
Um,
But
I don't know.
so,
I
so, you-
didn't. I didn't like her friends. I didn't like the dad. I'll start
yeah.
with that.
Yeah, they did it. They did a good job of definitely showing how alone this Sadie character was, right?
100%.
Especially, so her mom died, right, which was tragic. She died in a car accident. Then she, like, her father's being very, distant, and then obviously her friends. She said, like, we used to be best friends, we're not anymore. Like, when's the last time we hung out? Like, just
She
how
says,
isolated
quote
she really
unquote,
is.
your mom's funeral.
Yeah, that was the last time they hung out. And she goes, that doesn't count. Obviously, it doesn't count. That's terrible. That's a terrible place to hang out, quote unquote. But yeah, so they do a good job with that, and it definitely does set up the story for the Boogeyman. I want to say, listen, this movie does a lot of things well, which I enjoyed from the very
Yep.
beginning. I think they did a great job of introducing our characters, introducing the story, and kind of introducing the tone of the film with that whole first kill with the girl in the crib.
The baby in the crib. Yep.
Yeah, that opening scene was pretty crazy. And also, I like the fact that we understand that the Boogeyman kind of can mimic anyone's voice, right? And
Yep.
that's what they show with that first clip. That is great. And even like I felt like this was kind of like old school horror. Like, just because of just like, don't be afraid of the dark type thing.
100%.
And it really, yeah. So like I did not think it would come to be that scary, because it was scary. I think the way they did it, like, again, with the mimicking and
Honestly, that's where I agree with you. So I agree that it was scary, and I think my favorite parts of this movie have to do with the monster and when they actually do
Yes.
have fun and try to make it atmospheric and make it scary.
Yes.
So what this movie does very well, and if you can recall, I don't remember what the. So what I'm gonna say here is, it has this. Every one of these movies kind of has. I don't want to say it's a gimmick, but it has this sort of thing that it plays with. Obviously, in this movie, it's the dark.
Yes.
Another good example is The Conjuring. I don't know if The Conjuring 1 or Conjuring 2, but they both have similar elements. The Conjuring 2, I think, has the hide and clap with the little girl. Remember that?
That's the first.
That's
one.
the first one. Okay.
Yeah.
The second one has another game. And I love when they take these little, maybe like a childhood innocent game or something, and they make it, scary, or make add stakes to it. And there are a lot of movies that do that. This one, keep it very, very simple. Again, afraid of the dark, but then the little girl has a moon that glows.
Yes.
And
Yes.
her whole
yes.
thing is, like, whenever she sees something, she'll throw the moon. You see that early on. The door's open. She's not sure what's in the closet. She'll throw the moon just to have the light shine and know everything is okay. And then we get that scene in the trailer, which I hate. We get that scene that was shown in the trailer, which I hate that they showed in the trailer just because it was so good. Whereas, like, something crawls underneath her bed and she throws the light. I wish they would have kept playing with that a little bit more. And just have a little bit more of that. But it does eventually just get shut down. Like, it becomes more so, like, once you know what the monster is, you know what you're fighting, and you lose that you lose the atmosphere, you lose the game that you were playing.
Right. 100%. 100%. I gotta say, like I said, I'm impressed and I'm pleased with the way they did the whole dark thing with the
100%.
monster. Like
Even
even
with
with
the
like the
little
two
girl.
eyes,
Yeah,
with the little girl especially, absolutely.
the two
And
eyes
like
was genius. That's another good thing to point out is like you could see these two eyes of the monster, but it could also be anything. Like it always could be like a reflection or
how
something in the
many times
glass.
have you slept as a kid and you saw like a light blinking somewhere and you thought it was somebody like
Yeah, one
that
hundred
that
percent. It's so relatable.
yeah, exactly, relatable. And it was just good. And like even like the scenes like that, like I say old school hard because they made it work. So you know, how many times have you had somebody go to a fridge and they open the door or something and
To
like
see a light, yeah.
yeah, and then like then you're gonna close the door and you're gonna expect somebody to pop up, and then it never really happens. But in this case, they did that, you know, with the fridge, and they did it with
Yeah, but they did it
the
and it was
washer
so
machine.
simple, but they made it work.
Exactly, and like there was like two two I want to say two that are strong, two strong moments where I was like, whoa, like I did not expect that. And one of them was when she like closes the door on Sawyer. She's like, not right now. Like she's trying, and then the barges in and
And
like knocks her out. I'm like, yo, I did not expect that at all. And then the
wait,
second
wait,
one
wait.
was
Which moment is that one? I thought you were
that's
talking
when
about the tooth moment, but you're not talking about the tooth moment. You're
so
talking about
that's my second moment. The second moment is the tooth. Well, not that tooth, not the scene with the tooth where she closes the door, not
you're
that
talking
one.
about the one where she smoked the
She
joint.
takes it out of her mouth. I was
Yeah.
like, yo, I
Okay,
did not.
but what was the first
Okay,
moment that you're referring to?
the first moment was when she comes home. Like obviously she had that incident at school and whatnot, and she comes. I mean, at the house. And she closes the door. She's like, right, not now, sorry, you know, like, cause she's at, like her little sister's asking her all these questions. She's like, not now, leave me alone. And she kind of shuts the door on her when she's at her room, and then the door like breaks, like knocks her out.
Oh
And
yeah, that
then
was like the
it
dream
goes,
sequence.
yeah, exactly. And she wakes up out of nowhere. Yeah, that one I did not expect. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah,
that
I
got me.
thought that one was a little bit like out of nowhere. So it was one
Yeah,
of those things where like yes, I didn't expect it, but it was also completely out of nowhere. Like nobody would have expected that one.
yeah,
Versus like the one that you mentioned with the tooth, you could kind of see coming, and also the one with the father at the very end, where like she calls him to warn him like, hey, don't go
yeah,
inside the
yeah,
house, and then he gets taken at the very last moment. I was like, all right, those I can see, but the one that you just mentioned, that one was like, yeah, that was a dream sequence. That was like
yeah.
completely out of nowhere.
Yeah, but you didn't know it was a dream sequence until after the fact. So that's why I
Yeah,
was like, whoa, you know.
yeah.
But still, I think again, I think the like, especially like the closet scene, like those scenes were really scary, and I liked it. I really did enjoy the way they did those things because it was so simple and it worked, especially when she's playing the game. And there were a lot of moments, not just like one or two and like whatever. So like they really played with that. Now the cons of that that I would say is like I feel like there were so many questions that weren't answered in this movie. I feel like there's a lot, and like
100%. And then for
that kind
me,
of
for me,
go ahead.
I again, sorry, not to cut you
No,
off,
no,
but
please speak your mind
but
before
for
you leave
me,
your
the
thought.
whole like the third act and the whole like shooting and I don't know, there were a lot of questions like what like how did we get here in the first place?
Bro, how, like
Yeah,
his wife Lester Billings, the character,
yeah,
like she obviously goes to the house and finds that, and she was like, "Oh, Lester, he must have latched it to you." Like, how did he latch it to them? Like, what did he do? Like I need to
it's
know how that
just some
happened.
It Follows shit,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
what movie did we just watch that had the kind of similar premise?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's like what I don't understand, but whatever. Then it's also like if Lester's wife is battling the boogeyman at her house, that's not the same boogeyman at Sadie's house.
No, apparently he teleports, my guy. He's latched onto them in particular, so
Yeah, but
he's whatever they are.
I don't get that. So like if I don't know how to
So
explain it. So
she
like
wasn't battling him because he wasn't after her. Remember, he wasn't after her. He she had to use Sadie as bait, which is why she let her back.
okay, so okay, I guess that I know the bait portion of it, but my thing was like how did we get from one place to another? Like the whole latching
Yeah,
aspect of it is what confuses me.
I
You
get
know,
it. I'm with you too. I'm with you too. It
and
didn't really explain it at all. It was just more so
and
like,
then
oh, we're here.
exactly where they, which is fine.
I would have loved
I
to
think for
dive
some
more
movies
into the
could
origin
work.
of the monster,
Yeah, exactly. So I think for some movies, I
but
feel
that's
like that
kind of
can
what
work.
Smile did.
But yeah, yeah. But I need to understand. I get it. The boogeyman plays like hides in the dark, right? It feeds off the darkness and all that stuff. But like, how does it become physical? like to the point where it bleeds. Like that, I did not understand either.
But that's where I was getting to. Is I didn't like the whole like, okay, now the boogeyman is a being. Now they
Yeah,
can shoot
yeah,
it, and now they can capture it, and now it's so they kind of made it like it's a real monster, like it's just something that exists, but you can't see it in the day, sort of thing.
yeah,
I don't know, but then all of a sudden it's real, and it's like Freddy, where you like kind of took it out of a dream. Now it's you just took it out of the whatever they
yeah,
like when the mom when that the Sawyer fucking not Sawyer the Billing, Mrs. Billing, whatever.
yeah,
She fucking sets up this trap with
yeah,
shotguns to blow the thing up.
yeah,
I was like, yo, if this is the final act, I'm gonna be so upset with this movie. If
yeah.
it's literally like they just blow the shit up with shotgun bullets, I'm like, I'm leaving
Nah,
right now.
that would have been sick. But I think there's so many questions that I had because of that, and also like like another question was like when the boogeyman is on top of or the monster, I'm gonna call it the monster. When the monster's on top of Sadie and like kind of it opens its mouth and there's like another
Mm,
like monster in there and
yeah,
like I guess they're sucking like the soul out of her. I have no idea. Like
yeah,
there's clearly a distinction between the way he kills the baby in the beginning and then how he's trying to deal with, Sadie. So it's like,
I think
why?
somewhere along
You
the
know?
line they mentioned that he like eats them or something, right? It's like heavily implied or said. I think the mom or something says it.
Yeah, she says, "Oh, he takes her time, like until he'll take his time, and then like he'll consume you." Those are
Yeah,
the
that's
words.
what it was. Yeah,
Yeah, but like with the girl, like in the beginning, he just
sliced her. It just seemed like he
sliced
killed
her
her.
up. So it's like was there a reason like why it was Sadie? Like, and I get it, like her mom died and her mom helped her out at the end with the flame and stuff like that. It's just like again,
See,
I'm not trying to take away. I'm not
see,
trying to take away from the movie. I'm
that's
really not.
that's where I feel like okay. So to me, I didn't like that her mom helped her out in the end. I mean, it is what it is. It's expected if you watch the movie from the very beginning. But
Hmm.
I guess this is more so to how much of a cynic I am, or whatever you want to see. You know, I want to see fucking these characters go through real life shit, and um, just the perfect example is Smile, right? We liked Smile, and it didn't have a happy ending. And if
Right,
anybody was going to survive Smile, it would have been the main character there because she had gone through her own trauma and everything.
right,
But
right,
despite having gone through all her trauma and moving past it, she still wasn't able to overcome it, and she still died, right?
right,
And I
right.
felt like in
I
this
like that.
case, it's the perfect example of the opposite of that. The fact that she had gone through this trauma with her mom, at the end that it was her mom that saved the day. And I mean, I guess
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's a happy ending. I just thought, I mean, of course, like I don't know. It's just one of those things where you kind of see it coming from the very beginning. Um, it's not that I necessarily hated it. It's just more so like, yeah, that was
Predictable.
expected. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
that was
predictable.
predictable. And also, I'm kind of tired of like fire being the ultimate, go
They could
to
they
to
couldn't
kill
think
these
of it.
beings and
Yeah.
whatnot. Like, come on, like let's get more creative. Like,
But
Smile did that.
they did kind of play where like they led you to believe that it could actually be shot, and then eventually it came to like fire.
Yeah, yeah. But again, I'm not trying to take away from the movie at all. I really do think like I enjoyed it watching it. I thought it was very suspenseful and eerie at moments. I think they did it well. I'm not gonna lie. I think they did it well, especially the ending, obviously indicating that some type of sequel, leaving the door open, literally,
A little
for
bit,
like
yeah.
a movie,
They literally
in
did
the
the door.
future. And it was great. It was good. Just those questions. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that kind of
For me, I didn't like some of Sadie's decisions as well. Like going inside that murder house, there were some things that were frustrating for me that character made. Some decisions that character made, like going inside that house, even though it was pretty pretty beat up, in the condition that it was in, to continue to investigate, leaving Sawyer behind or leaving Sawyer in the hospital. There was just certain decisions where I was just like, "Come on, man, you know
I
better."
don't think I minded that much. I think for me, it was the father that really,
Oh
really
yeah,
did it
the
for me.
father was the father. I wanted him to die at this point. Like by
Yeah,
by the third
I
act, I
just
was like, I do hope
thought
you die.
it negated his position as a father and as a therapist, like having no type of connection with his daughters at all, especially when he lost, his wife. So
Yeah,
I thought that was just completely like whack, like straight up whack. That was
100%.
garbage. It's like, come on, like what are we doing here? And then at the end, like,
It's that shtick where like the parents never really believe the kids, and I
yeah,
get it
yeah,
to a certain degree, but I think it could have been done better. I think it could
yeah.
have been done better.
And like you can't do that. I don't think you can do that after the mom dies because now, as a viewer, maybe not that I want the father to die, but it's like I know you're not gonna make them lose both parents. So why make the character this way? Where was the redemption for that? Like I saw no redemption in there besides like him trying to help them at the end. Like no, that's whack. Like
Yeah.
and then I guess the redemption also was the scene where they're all talking to the
The
therapist. Like,
therapist, yeah. I do want to
I
say,
mean,
off topic here, but I do like that scene with the therapist and the red strobing light, and I do like I guess, how real the little girl's fear was to the dark, because she wasn't just afraid of the boogeyman, she was afraid of the dark, and they made that
yes,
clear from the beginning.
yes,
The way
yes,
she slept in her room, the fact that she had that moonlight, um, and all the lights that she had in her room, and then that scene with the therapist where they're like they try to say like the best way to overcome your fears to deal with it, and she had to deal with being in the dark, and they had this red strobing light, which just added more atmosphere, and we got a couple of stills on that online. It was all over the internet when the movie first came out. I think it was
yep.
also in one of the trailers. um but yeah, I think that scene was done very well, and I do like when they do things like that. So yeah, I mean, I say that to say that there are a lot of elements of this movie that I do like. But overall, I thought it was okay. I thought it was decent.
Yep.
Um, I in retrospect, I saw the ratings, and I'm like, yeah, I think I kind of agree with the ratings on this one.
What were the
Um,
ratings for this one? I didn't see. I'm actually don't tell me. I want to give you my rating before I give it, but before I say anything.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, I agree with you though, with a lot what you just said. I think that again, it was a movie I enjoyed. I wanna say
yeah,
that out
100%.
there.
I would still watch
Yeah,
it again. I would probably recommend people to watch it as well.
yeah,
It was a good movie. I
yeah,
mean, I think I'm gonna go as far as to say it was a good movie. I don't know.
yeah,
I'm gonna go beyond that.
yeah. I think it was a good movie, strong cast. I do think that they played with the dark really well and made it like pretty
Yeah, there are
scary.
elements of this movie that are worth a watch.
Yes, yes, absolutely agreed.
100%.
And for that, like I can easily see people giving it like a 8. I would say like if I'm feeling good, I'll give it an 8. But if I'm being like, even realistic, like I just the questions I feel like for me like that I had and like some gray areas, I would probably give it like a 7.
Yeah. So I was leaning towards a 7 out of 10. I wrote down on my notes it was okay, 6 out of 10, 6.5 max. I was
Okay.
like, I wasn't as impressed as I guess I was expecting, but with that being
Hmm.
said, I didn't go into it with like super high expectations, only because again, I felt like I've been waiting for this movie for a while. And
Right.
it
Right.
kind of like my interest kind of uh fell away. Like it went away after I had waited for so long. Um, but again, I can see it being good 7, but in my initial reaction was 6.5. I would say. Um, I liked it. I would say I liked it. It was okay. Um, I do want to add a couple other things here. I went and watched this movie at Alamo Drafthouse. I don't normally go to Alamo Drafthouse, but
Okay.
they did a couple things for the atmosphere that I really appreciated. So one, I sat down a little bit early for this particular movie. Trailers
Okay.
are usually about 20, 25 minutes. I was there maybe movie started at 6:30. I was there like 6:20, and they played in those 10 minutes that I was there. They were playing all Boogeyman related stuff.
Really?
They played the trailers to previous Boogeyman movies. They played they played a little score of like a 50s or 60s uh, Boogeyman song. They played Boogeyman commercials, and I appreciate that. Like I just thought
I
it
like that.
it
Yeah, it gets
helped
you. It
you.
gets you hyped up.
Yeah, it helps you get into the mood. So
Yeah.
shout out to Alamo Draft House. I thought that was pretty cool. Just I don't really go very often, and I'm not usually one that arrives that early either. But for things like that, shit, I might very well do it if I know that I was gonna go watch a Halloween movie and they were gonna show me like Halloween related stuff beforehand. I think that's pretty cool, especially something like this, like the Boogeyman. Like I get it, it's a scary movie, but I'm surprised that they actually took the time to like collect those clips and play that before a movie.
Yeah, you can tell that they're invested in the experience of the viewer, which is something that I think you should put first. You want to be in the mood. You want to be able to, you know, go strong into the movie with a great mindset and maybe help with their ratings. But no, I didn't have that. AMC. I love AMC. I had the membership. I do think that watching movies is great. But no, I didn't have that experience. So I'm glad at least you got it.
Did you get the Talk to Me trailer? Because I did.
I got a lot of trailers that I want to talk about. Actually, I got the Talk to Me trailer. It's the one that I saw though. It's not the new one.
Yes, it wasn't the new one. I was expecting the new one. I have not seen the new one actually. I have not seen it.
I don't think I've seen the new one either. I'll go ahead.
But I know that there is a new one.
I kind of don't want to see it though. That's the thing. I told you.
Yeah,
Like,
that's we're on the same boat. I was like, do I watch it? And then they were playing one in the movie, and I was like, okay, if this is the new one, then I'll watch it just because it's here.
I gotta say though, this may just be me, and I might be like complete overthinking it. But I think watching the trailer a second time, I think kind of did it, a little worse. I don't know. I feel like I wasn't as into it. I don't know. Like I felt like I saw. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess it was cool the first time, and like the hype around and how they A24 got it, and like all the cast members were excited about it. I'm not trying to discredit anybody with anything. It's just I saw it again. I'm like, all right, okay, you guys got to really impress me because I don't know what I'm like. Like I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I don't know. But, I don't know if I would agree. For me, I mean, I still want to watch it. I wouldn't say that I wasn't like not interested.
Of course, I want to watch it still, but I don't think it did a good number on me the second time around. I'm like, I don't know.
I feel you.
Yeah, but whatever.
What else did you get?
I saw this another one. It rises or something. It rises inside or whatever. It was like another. It was another demonic figure with like the same two eyes the Boogeyman had. Did you see that? And like this girl in school is carrying a jar.
No, that was not on mine.
Hold up. I gotta find it. In the meantime, mention another trailer because I'm gonna let you know what it was.
Sorry, I thought I muted myself because I was gonna cough, but I didn't. I don't know if I got anything else, to be honest. The only trailer that stuck out to me that was horror was this one, was to Talk to Me, but I didn't get anything else. That's why
you didn't get the Nun. I got the Nun.
I did not. There's a Nun trailer?
I got the Nun, bro. Shit was.
I didn't even know there was a Nun trailer.
Yeah,
and I'm a big Thaisa and Vera Farmiga fan.
I got the Nun. I got Insidious.
Right, well, again, I went to Alamo. These are the downsides, I guess.
Yeah, but I can't find the other one. Dang it. Whatever. Yeah, I can't find the
I have not seen the Nun. I didn't even know the Nun had a trailer, to be honest.
Yeah, the Nun was actually pretty scary. There was like a little jump scare at the end. I'm excited for the Nun. It's gonna be dope. Okay.
And that's this year, no?
Yes.
The Nun is this year.
September, I think it was.
Yeah. I mean, if we have a trailer for it, again, I didn't even know there was a trailer for it.
It Rises Within. What the hell is it called? I forgot what the movie's called, man. It's gonna kill me. Okay, I'll try to find it, but
we'll circle back. We'll circle back to it.
But in other news that I wanted to share with you that I know you know about this, but Stranger Things news. Stranger Things season 5 news.
Yes.
We have the announcement here that Linda Hamilton will be joining the Stranger Things season 5 cast. If you're a Terminator fan, I know you are.
We all know her.
I am.
Sarah Connor. We all know her.
Sarah Connor. I love this about the Duffer Brothers because they do these things with like, Robert Englund and like just like the vibe that they kind of give off is like resonates with what I like. It's like they know what I like. It's like, all right, let's do it.
I guarantee you, there's going to be some sort of reference or cameo to
there
Terminator.
Has to be, bro. There
100%.
There's no way. There has to be.
Somebody's going to say, "Come with me if you want to live," or some shit. Something's going to happen. I guarantee you.
But on top of that, there's nothing else released as to what her character will be, where she will be. It's just that she was announced. But another piece of information here that I want to share with you guys is the fact that the Duffer Brothers tweeted out writing. This is last month that they tweeted this. They said writing does not stop when filming begins. While we're excited to start production with our amazing cast and crew, it is not possible during this strike. We hope a fair deal is reached soon so we can all get back to work. Until then, over and out. #WGA strong. Now, not only Stranger Things, but a lot of projects that have been announced, are being delayed. And I mean a lot of Marvel projects, a lot of Batman, a lot of movies in general. So it's like, it's a very difficult time. This is why I get upset
Because they
that
could have done this a while
they
ago.
could have done this a long time ago. And this is why I feel like, and what bothers me about this is that they come off looking nice, like WGA strong, like you want to. I get that. I'm not trying to take that away from you, but at the same time, it's like, bro, how long do you want us to wait? Like you told us, like you waited till right when the season ended, and now look what happens. Like these are the things you got to account for, and I really, really don't like that. Like I'm really not a fan of that.
I agree, and honestly,
Like, come on, man.
I'm a big advocate for like you have to capitalize on timing. I think
Of
timing
course you
is
do.
very important, and I think it's often oversought where like you don't realize that if you have somebody waiting for X amount of time, there is there's a max amount of time that you can have somebody waiting to that it'll eventually pique their interest.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if you had me waiting for a year, you piqued my interest at 1 year, but at 2 years, 3 years, my interest is only going down.
Yep.
People don't
Yep.
realize that, and I think that's something that these studios and writers need to capitalize on because if I'm not gonna say that the show's not gonna do well because it will. It's still Stranger Things at the end of the day, but I guarantee you it would have done better had you capitalized on the timing of these things.
I agree.
And
I agree.
it happens a lot. Believe it or not, it happens a lot for TV shows, even for movies, where like you don't capitalize on the fact that you had people waiting for X amount of time, and now things don't happen, and now it's get pushed back to another year and another year and another year. Um, yeah, and again, I guarantee you people are still gonna watch it, but my interest is no longer as high as it once was.
No, it's not, and it takes away
And
from the experience
and
as
honestly,
well.
I felt this way at the before the last season. I told you I was like, bro, they're adults already. Like, how long is it gonna take for them to come out with this new season? And
Yeah,
now it looks like it's gonna be another 3 years before we fucking get Stranger Things again. So like, I don't know,
and
man.
and then
I
who's
just
to
don't.
say like these type of incidents that happen changes the actual script or the
100%,
actual
one
plot?
thousand
And like
percent.
it's like I'm sure what they had in mind. I mean, I don't know if it is like it's the case, but I definitely will not what you call it disregard that like because they can write something so great and then this delay and strike like you said adults maybe like things won't become believable regardless if they stick with their script it can hurt them if they change it it can hurt them I feel like
But it's
execution is everything, man.
another example. David Gordon Green. We mentioned the fact that like over tweaking a script could fucking break it, could ruin it. And when you have all these opportunities where like, okay, it's done, and now you've been delayed another year, and now you go back to edit it because you have time and all this shit, you can possibly end up making it worse when you might have already had a finished product. There is such thing as overworking a script. Um, in general, like this is a lot of things where you have to take into an account. Like that,
Yeah.
this they were probably already ready, but again, you're right. They do end up looking good here because they're on the writer side of the strike and everything. So
Exactly. I don't know. Whatever. I just hope obviously I want everyone to, be credited for everything and get what they deserve and all that jazz and it's a lot of work. Writers have a difficult what you call it.
100%, and they definitely
Role.
do not get enough credit.
I get it. I
I will
want to
say
make
that for
sure
sure.
that absolutely. Like they are the ones that glue everything. It's just that it's just unfortunate that people like us who are fans have to kind of be in the back end of things. So, but that's Stranger Things. I'm not gonna touch on that a little bit more. There's something I want to mention to you that I don't know if you were aware of. Board games. There are certain board games that are coming out, and I
You
am
shared
excited to
one.
talk about this.
You did retweet this one.
Yes, so obviously the one that you're talking about is a Halloween 2 board game that is on Kickstarter, and they Bloody Disgusting released a 7-minute scene that they did to the creators of this board game had a 7-minute scene to kind of promote their board game, and it's a Halloween 2 board game, Halloween 2. Not Rob Zombie's
1981.
Halloween 2. Yeah, 1981. I just realized I have to make that clear. It's interesting. I think I really like the scene that they did. I do like the, I guess, aspects of the board game. It's like, you have all these characters trying to run away from Michael. You got to roll the dice, and you got to select a card, and based off the card that you select, I guess you move somewhere or whatever. Like, I don't know too much about the game itself, but I think it's pretty cool. There are different versions of the games. There's like a high. I think I saw one that was like, if I'm not mistaken, 150 for two types of games, and there was like one that was like $80 for like one type of game. So I guess you can flip the board over or something and
Yeah.
play a different type of game, which is
That's
cool.
pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I definitely want to take a look at it. I am a big fan of board games. I'm a big fan of like those tabletop games. I used to watch a lot of videos on them as well. I do find it very very entertaining. You believe it or not, there are a lot of board games that people make nowadays that are just like a group of friends that made up this board game and now they're selling it. And this is a good example of like the creativity of something that you can make with like especially something that you have source material and you can like kind of make it a plot. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Michael's chasing you, and then you roll a dice. We don't know what the exact rules are, but like, I love how you can turn something as simple as like a slasher into a board game. That's pretty cool.
yeah. I feel like board games like that kind of make you feel like you're part of that experience, like
Yeah,
you're in the movie.
it's that sort of we're talking about Stranger Things. We're talking about D&D or something. It's like
Exactly,
you are
exactly.
living the game.
Great connection there, and it's just like I thought that was pretty cool. I do want to go in more and kind of understand more about the different types of games and how to play them. But I thought their presentation in terms of that scene, I thought it was pretty cool. Kudos to them. It's Kickstarter. I'll tweet the link that I've seen. I already retweeted it actually. And it's on our page, so if you want to go take a look at that. But there's another board game that I'm very excited to talk about,
Another
and that's
one.
a Scream board game. I've
Is it
seen
made by the
people.
same people?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'll fact check that later, but no, I don't. I really don't think so. But this one is pretty cool. I've seen people on TikTok already have it for some reason. I guess they got to test it out, or I have no idea what kind of connections they had there. But it comes out next month, so I already ordered it. It's on Amazon if you want to order it. It's like $20. What's cool about this is you can play up to 8 players, and you have to download the Scream app. There's a Scream app. So I guess like it tells you make sure your volume is all the way up. So I have to put my volume all the way up and off silent mode to play the game. Look at that. Scream the game. It's what it's called.
That's
And
pretty
then
good.
it tells you how to play. It shows you a video how to play. It sends you to this link here. And it's pretty interesting. And this app is supposed to be very intuitive. So it's like you might get a call from the killer. You have to like answer the call and you have a decision to make or something like that. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, it's made by Funko. Okay.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's made by Funko. I'm a big Funko Pops guy, so yeah, the fact that this is made by
Can you see
Funko
the
is
Harry
pretty cool.
Potter Funkos over there? I got some basketball players over here.
Guys, you don't want
Funko,
to
I
see
did
all the
not know that. That makes me even more excited.
you don't want
And
to
like,
you don't want to know how many Funkos I have. I should start collecting the scary ones.
and yeah, I'm very excited for this. Like again, they show you instructions on how to play it, and look, this is kind of what it looks like.
It
You
comes
draw
with
a card.
a little Ghostface figurine.
Yeah, it comes with a Ghostface figure because he's the one who's gonna kill you. So like, I don't know.
What have
I'm
been the
very
early
excited for this.
impressions?
I don't know. I saw them on TikTok. I saw people unboxing it and like people were commenting, how is it? Like, oh, it's fun to play, but I want to try it out for myself. I don't want to reveal anything myself. But you can play up to 8 players, which is sick. And you download, I feel like the fact that you can download the app and like make decisions and like he calls you, it's like, that's pretty dope. I think that's really, really cool. I'm excited. It comes for me July 19th. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
And I'm very excited. It's maybe like a little late birthday gift, if you want to,
Maybe, maybe.
but no, it's if you haven't seen it, please check that out. I think it's something that you would really like, especially if you're a Scream fan. And
The first thing that comes to my mind, honestly, before you switch to the next subject, I did want to say, like, when you mentioned board games and you mentioned Scream, I'm like, wouldn't it be cool to have like a Scream Guess Who, where like
yes,
you just
that'd be
guess who the killer is,
sick.
where like
Like
I don't know,
an Among Us type shit, Among Us
yeah.
type thing.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
Among
that'd
Us,
be
or
great.
just like a Guess Who, like make us a Guess Who Scream, where it's just
Yeah.
like, who's the killer, who's the ghost face. That's it.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. I think this can be great too. I really can't wait to play it, to be honest. And I'm more than happy to share my reactions and impressions after the fact. But talking about Scream now, I don't know if you heard rumors going around. You know, rumors are rumors, but there is a Scream 7 script that is done. And it
Supposedly.
supposedly, guys, don't, quote me on this. And Paramount is trying to release it late next year. And they are trying to have Nev Campbell, you know, I guess close out this franchise.
Of course.
Um,
Why wouldn't you bring him
I'm
back?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited about it. I definitely think Scream 7 is happening. There's no doubt in my mind that it's not happening. As to how it happens, no idea on that, but I think more news is coming out. There's a Twitter page, multiple Twitter pages actually, but there's one that has been, on the money with a lot of Scream news. It's Scream_news. That's their Twitter handle, and they've tweeted it saying that it looks like it's pretty much done, and they kind of want to get a green light on this. So we'll update you with more information as they come.
Alrighty
I don't
then.
know what I don't know if you want to add to that, or you're happy about that, this and that.
No, I mean, I've seen some things. I saw Melissa Barrera keeps on talking. She says
Yeah,
something
but she's
along the
talking
lines.
crazy though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
She's saying some
yeah,
crazy things right now.
she is. She is saying a lot of crazy things. That's what I was gonna get to. It's just like she's saying like
Like,
it's bound to happen, but she doesn't know or something.
yeah,
I
like
don't
it
know.
would be great to be the killer. Like I
But she
don't
said
want you
that
being the
early on,
killer.
but she said something else afterwards. I don't remember now.
Yeah,
But she said something along the lines of like it's bound to happen or something like that.
yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much all that I got for this week, Tommy.
Alrighty then. So with that being said, please follow us on all social media platforms. On Twitter, it's at That's Horrific. Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. Well, that's horrific. Because if you don't,
Well, that's horrific. Peace.